Good morning. Hi, I'm Darlene and welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to be making a peanut butter cake. This recipe has been in my family for generations, and I have had a request to make it. So that's what we're going to do today. Typically I make the cake from scratch, but I'm kind of low on my all-purpose flour. So I'm going to use a cake mix, but I'm going to doctor it up so that it tastes more homemade or a bakery style type cake. I have nothing against cake mixes. You can use it just as it says on the box, or you can, like I said, today I'm going to alter it a little bit. Today I'm going to be using a yellow cake mix. That's usually what I use for this cake, but I also have made it with a chocolate cake and then take like the Reese's peanut butter cups and chop them up and use them between the two layers and on the top as a garnish, and that's really good too. But today is going to be the one that I actually grew up eating. So what I'm doing, as I said, is the yellow cake mix. So put the cake mix, of course, in this mixer. You would think this would not be hard, but for some reason this morning it is. Now, usually the cake mix will ask you to do a cup of water, 2/3 a cup of oil, and 3 eggs. But what I'm going to do is still the water. I'm going to use a cup of milk, and that's whole milk. And then instead of the oil, I'm going to use 2/3 a cup of melted butter. Now, 2/3 a cup of melted butter is 10 tablespoons and 2 teaspoons of butter. So when you melt it, then it comes out exactly 2/3 a cup. Then, besides the 3 eggs, I'm going to add an extra egg. So stick that in there. This is actually going to be going to a friend's house. So I'm going to bake it in an aluminum disposable pan. When you're using a disposable pan, you want to put a baking sheet under it just to give it that stability. And that way too, your cake will be, even all over. So let's get this mixed up real quick. I'm going to put it on low for just a few minutes just to get it kind of mixed up and where it won't splatter all over me like I've done many times. So let's have that, and then you just kind of mix it for a couple of minutes. Let's get that done and then we'll continue. Okay, we got this all mixed up, so let's get it out here. And of course, it will have a different consistency too than just the cake mix. And this is the attachment I use to mix my cake mixes. Let me put this over here. I'm using, like I said, a 9x13 aluminum pan. You can use the round cake layers too. But since this is going over someone's house and I wanted it to be a disposable pan, I thought it would be easier to do a 13x9. So we're going to take this out of the mixer, break my mixer while I'm at it. Let's kind of scrape these sides down, and we're going to pour it into our pan. And while I'm doing this, I do want to remind you again about the recipe name, or not the recipe name, the cookbook business name that I have asked you guys to make sure you contribute to that. I will be making the decision on Friday, August the 1st, and then whoever I choose, I will send you a gift card just as a thank you for helping me out on this. All right, so let's get this spread out. as evenly as we can. But one good thing with this too is it's not coming out of the pan whenever it's baked. So the evenness, you don't have to worry about that much really, but still want to try to get it the best way you can. So, I'm sorry, let me rinse my hands real quick. Put better on it. You get to see a close-up of my shoulder. So we're going to get this in the oven. It probably will take about 28 to 30 minutes. And of course it's done. If you touch it and it bounces back, then you know that it's done. If it's still got a jiggle to it, it needs to stay in there a little bit longer. So while it's baking, we will make the frosting. Okay, we're ready to start the frosting. So I usually start with about 1 pound of powdered sugar. Now this is a 2-pound bag, so I'm just going to use like half of it for right now. A lot of this is going to be tasting it, looking at the consistency just to know if it's right. So always good to start with the powdered sugar first. And now a stick of room temperature unsalted butter. I always lay out this usually about an hour or so before I'm going to use it. And I also lay out an extra stick just in case I have to have it. So again, you get to look at my shoulder. Let me put this over here and that'll be easier. So the first thing we're going to do is cream this butter and this powdered sugar together. I use this attachment for that. So let's get that going here. I would start it on slow just to make sure that it is not going to go all over your face. I'm sorry, let me get the milk out too. I forgot about that. Of course it's going to come out. No. So you know that I'm real because I make a mess, just like humans do most of the time. So to keep this from doing this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of milk to begin with. Just to give it a little bit of liquid. Let's try this again. Man, did I make a mess. Now, that's a little bit better. It's getting there. Okay, I can tell by looking that this is not going to be enough powdered sugar. So we're going to go ahead and add some more. Maybe just a half of a half. There we go. Let's get it on low first, of course. Okay, that's much better. So now I'm going to add just about a teaspoon, which is usually about a cupful of vanilla extract. Now this one, I am using the extract because I don't want the real strong flavor of vanilla. And then what we're going to do is use creamy peanut butter. This is just a regular, like dinnerware tablespoon. So I usually put in about 3 of these. And we can always add more if it's not intense enough. So let's turn this back on. Get this mixed in. This is basically a buttercream. Now, my family uses they do a little bit of different method with theirs, but I have found that the buttercream is easier and it get that going. Okay, so now we got to add enough milk that it's going to be frosting consistency. So I'm just going to add a little bit in there. I'm sorry, this is one of those recipes I don't have measurements for. I just go by what it looks like. So before I get going very much more, what I'm going to do is scrape down these sides. I'm going to do that periodically so you get everything in there you need. And you can tell what the true consistency is of it. Oh, peanut butter smells so good. All right, let's get started again. Okay, so it looks like it is the right consistency right now, but we need to taste it. So when I make this or anything else, I have these little disposable spoons, and I like to use that so I'm not sticking the double dipping, as they say. So let's see what it tastes like. The exact amount of peanut butter is fine. Now, let's take a offset spatula that I will be using frosted with. I want to see what exactly the consistency is. So when it's like that, it's pretty good. The only thing I'm probably going to do is add just a teeny more powdered sugar, not a lot, just a little, because I don't want this sliding off the cake any. Let's get that started. I'm gonna see it again. Don't want to overmix this in here because you can actually break it. That's better. So let's we're gonna get this off of here as much as we can. You would think I never use a mixer sometimes by looking at some of the things that I do. I thought I would have probably been raised right next to a mixer as much as I've used it. So I'm going to make sure that everything is mixed up well. Let's try it one more time with a different spoon. I could just sit and eat this by itself. I don't need the cake. Perfect. So what we'll do is set this aside. After the cake is baked and cooled off, then we'll put the frosting on. Let me give you a peek. See? My nieces and nephews love this cake, so every time that we're having to get together, that is always their request. And I don't mind because they're all very special to me and I want to do what they want. So let's get this cake cooled off and then we'll frost it. Hey, I'm back. Well, our cake is done and it is cooled. So now it's time to put our frosting on. So let's put just a little at a time as the base. Spatula, and we're just going to spread it out to all the edges Now this cake is going to one of my friends. We have been friends since the 9th grade, so basically about 2 years ago. Well, you know, I'm kind of stretching that a little bit, but we have been friends since then. And not just the acquaintance type friends. We talk every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. She has supported me through all these surgeries and everything I've had to have lately. And I don't know what in the world I would have done without her. So when I decided to do this, she was the first person that I thought of. Now the person that requested me to make this cake, she lives in Alabama, so I couldn't get one to her. But she has had mine before, and so now she'll know how to make it herself. So I'm going to put a little bit more here on the top. Now, if you don't want this much frosting, of course, back when I was making it, when I added the extra powdered sugar, you could just kind of decrease that amount, and if you don't want as much, but really, the frosting is the best part of this cake. So, this is pretty well, I think, all I need on here. And that actually gives me a little bit to stay here. Now this cake, you can keep it out at room temperature for a couple of days, but after then you want to put it back in the, you want to put it in the fridge because it is buttercream, and if it stays out very much longer than that, that butter is going to start separating, and you don't want that to happen. So, thank you for visiting with me today. Again, I'll be making my decision on Friday of what the name is going to be. And please share this video. I would like to really reach out to a lot more people and get a lot more followers so that I can, you know, get everything going. But if you guys have any questions, or if you have a request that you would like me to make, then just put it in the comments, or you can send me a message, either one. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and just take a minute to be grateful for everything that we have. So I enjoyed it. See you next time. I'm back again. I don't think I even said what the name is of the person that's getting the cake. She doesn't even know it, but her name is Angie. And like I said, we've been friends for years and years and years. And so she was the first person I thought of. So I want to say, surprise, Angie. And I will carry this to her tomorrow. We're supposed to meet, go have some lunch, and maybe do a little shopping. So just wanted to give a shout out to her. So see you next time.